उसको एप्लीकेशन की, उसके बाद उसके ऊपर वक्फ बोर्ड ने डिसीजन लेते टाइम लगाया, हाई कोर्ट के 2-4-5 दिन के ऊपर ये आए, और उसके बाद फिर इन्होंने इसको लास्ट ईयर 2022 या 2023 के अंदर दिस प्रॉपर्टी इज डिक्लेयर्ड एज ए वक्फ प्रॉपर्टी।
The government has cited these instances to justify the need for amendments to the Waqf Act. Bureau Report, India Today.
करोड़ों लोगों का दुआ मिलेगा।
So are the amendments to the Waqf Act justified? Or is the government trying to bring this in an attempt to polarize society and to unsettle the minorities? The opposition alleges this is being done with an eye on the Haryana and Maharashtra elections. I want to introduce you to our guest joining us for this broadcast. We have Dr. Shoaib Jamai. He's with the AIMIM Delhi State Unit as its President, Chairperson of the India Muslim Foundation. Syed Zafar Islam is the national spokesperson of the BJP. Kanchan Gupta is a public affairs commentator. Till recently, he was part of the union government in different capacities. Abbas Haider is the spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Syed Nasiruddin Chishti is the chairperson of the All India Sufi Council, and several Muslim bodies also have actually come out in support of the amendments. I want to start by asking Shoaib Jamai of the AIMIM, that's Asad Owaisi's party, to explain his principal objection. Why is it that you're opposing the amendments moved by the union government? Because what is being claimed is that it is good to have women as part of the Waqf boards. There's no good reason why they shouldn't be there. It's good to ensure that land is verified before a board suddenly wakes up and announces that this is Waqf property, verified earlier. Therefore, there is really no logical objection to the amendments that have been moved. What's your contention? Let's start from there. Shoaib Jamai.
Thank you, Rahul. The whole intention of the government is to be questioned. See.
No, but you will always question the intention of the government. I'm saying, what's your specific objection to what's being done?
Exactly. Like the master stroke in farm bills, it was later withdrawn because intention was not good. Like the same NRC.
So I'm talking about the specific provisions that have been introduced. For example, women are being introduced into the Waqf boards. I think that's a good idea. They're also saying that before a Waqf board stands up and announces that this is now Waqf land, and then it becomes Waqf land till the time a civil court says something about it, they're saying let's verify the land earlier before it gets announced as Waqf land. I'm saying go provision by provision, tell me what's your problem.
Okay, let me explain to this. जो प्रेजेंट ट्राइब्यूनल होते हैं उसमें एसडीएम भी होता है और हाई कोर्ट के चीफ जस्टिस अपना रिप्रेजेंटेशन एक भेजते हैं जो कि रिटायर्ड जज होता है। ऑलरेडी वहां पे इस वक्त ट्राइब्यूनल में होते हैं और ट्राइब्यूनल के फैसले का रिव्यू डाल सकते हैं आप हाई कोर्ट में और उसके बाद आप सुप्रीम कोर्ट में भी जा सकते हैं। तो ये कहना कि असीमित शक्तियां हैं और आप जा ही नहीं सकते, ये बात गलत है।
No, that's not the point. The government is saying now through this amendment that let there be a verification before a particular parcel of land is announced as Waqf land. You saw that story from Tamil Nadu where a village suddenly discovered that a Waqf board has claimed that somebody's donated this to the Waqf board and therefore this is Waqf land. They're saying pehle check kar lo, let there be a proper inspection, only then can it be announced as Waqf land. What's the problem with that? What's wrong with having women on the Waqf boards? Why are there no women on the Waqf boards?
Is that the mistake of Muslim community? वहां सरकार के लोग हैं, वक्फ बोर्ड गवर्नमेंट के अंदर एसडीएम आपके जो जस्टिस के जो यहाँ से रिप्रेजेंटेशन होते हैं वो भी आपके, तो इसमें मुसलमानों की गलती क्या होगी? एक मसला आपको दिखाने के लिए मिलता है। अगर मुझे ये बताइए कि हिंदू एंडोमेंट बोर्ड के अंदर कोई मुस्लिम मेंबर नहीं हो सकता, आपके चार धाम बोर्ड मेंबर के अंदर कोई मुस्लिम नहीं हो सकता, इवन जैन और पारसी भी नहीं हो सकते, दलित भी नहीं हो सकते, तो फिर यहाँ से ये मुसलमानों की जो
why are you opposing having women on the board?
ये हमारा रिलीजियस है, प्रैक्टिस है, ये वक्फ बोर्ड।
No, why are you opposing having women on the board? सब मुस्लिम women को रख लो ना, मुस्लिम women को क्या क्यों नहीं रखते आप बोर्ड के अंदर, उसमें क्यों प्रॉब्लम कर रहे हैं?
हमने कब इतराज किया? आप यहाँ से अयोध्या के यहाँ से उसमें पीठ में क्यों नहीं रखते आप? आप वहां पे तिरुपति में क्यों नहीं रखते? आप किसी ने सवाल पूछा 4 धाम मेंबर बोर्ड में आप क्यों नहीं रखते यहाँ से हिंदू महिलाओं को? तो ये सारा
Okay.
मामला सिर्फ मुसलमानों के लिए है
Let
क्या?
Kanchan Gupta respond to this.
आप
Now,
जकिया जाफरी और मुमताज ये यहाँ से बिल्किस बानो को रखेंगे
okay,
मेंबर में?
okay.
आप देंगे उनको
Kanchan
इंसाफ?
Gupta,
तो ये हाथी के
two
दांत
things.
दिखाने के कुछ और, खाने के
In
कुछ
any
और,
Hindu
मुसलमानों
temple
की
board,
जमीनों को हड़पने की ये
typically
साजिश
from
है
what
ताकि अंबानी
most
अडानी को दे
people
दिया
would
जाए.
say
That's our contention.
has been the experience, except for a few exceptions, that women typically aren't there. They're saying, why are you telling us what we should do, how we should run these institutions? Secondly, they're saying there are enough checks and balances already, and the Waqf is made out into this nefarious villain, whereas there are adequate checks and balances, representations from the government already. Why should people from other religions be included in what is a minority institution? They're saying it's our right. Why is the government telling us how to do our business?
Good evening, Rahul. Some very quick points. One, Waqf is not covered under Articles 25 and 26. So let us get this clear. It is not about a religious practice, and it is a legislated practice, and the legislation that exists is of 2013 vintage. Number two, you have a situation where a Waqf board can just go and declare any land as Waqf land, and its word is taken as final unless the contest goes to the Waqf review board, and from there you can. Well, the Supreme Court has said that the statute of limitations shall not apply, and people who are impacted by a decision of the Waqf board or the Waqf tribunal can go to the High Court or Supreme Court. But the entire process then becomes a punishment. Until such time the Supreme Court gives its ruling, it will be deemed to be a Waqf land, and they can just evict you from there.
Okay.
Number three, the whole practice of declaring any land as Waqf land without any documentation. There is no documentation that is extant for you yourself said that the Waqf boards are the third largest owner of land in this country. But where is the documentation?
Okay.
Where is documentation that...
Stay with me for a moment. Senior BJP leader Smriti Irani now joins us on this broadcast. Smriti ji, from the Muslim bodies we are hearing the following points of objection, that even in Hindu temple trusts, in many of them there are no women. Why are women being pushed into this? There's no objection, they're saying, but do the same for Hindu temple bodies as well. Why is the government, in their opinion, trying to enforce its views on a minority institution? Smriti Irani.
I think at the onset, let me clarify that when we engage with stakeholders across the country and the community with regards to what are the amendments expected under the Waqf Act, two challenges that were dominant was the fact that many Muslim women were being denied their inheritance rights by not only mutawallis but also from the Waqf board itself. And Muslim women themselves felt that for them to have a representation, for somebody on the board to recognize issues with regards to their gender, with their rights, there is a need for female representation on the board. Hence, anybody who's objecting to the government providing for Muslim women to have a very respectful representation and intervention on the board is genuinely doing a great disservice to women of the Muslim community. Secondly, if you look at the board and its functionality in totality, how is the board currently functioning? As we speak, Rahul, if you go to the website of the Telangana Waqf Board, you will find that the Telangana Waqf Board is also giving certificates for marriage, for divorce, and is also giving khula. Now, there has been a media agency that has done an investigation post the ban on triple talaq that these board members now, some of them are technically to facilitate men who want to abandon women, are giving khula And women who are victims of this act by that Waqf board are running around helter-skelter trying to find some legal refuge, some legal support for their very livelihoods, for their very marital status. So to look at the board from the myopia of only property would be again not understanding how boards right now are functioning across the country.
Okay. One is the issue, ma'am, of women.
Let me add that the board in Andhra Pradesh.
Okay, please complete what you're saying.
The board in Andhra Pradesh, in fact, turned a fatwa into a resolution of the board and declared that Ahmadiyyas are non-Muslim. So what the government today has proposed will not only enhance efficacy of the board, not only protect the rights of men and women and children of the Muslim community, but also bring about a lot of transparency in how boards are operationalized and are made functional. Additionally, the fact that state governments are involved in not only constituting the board, but also district administrations have been empowered to bring the functionality of the board into a legal framework is also something that now I hope will find an elaborate national platform for discussion.
The second point that's being raised as an objection is that if you look at a Hindu temple, there are no Muslim members typically part of the Hindu temple trust. So why should it be said that in the Waqf board, people from all religious denominations can be members? And if it is to be done, why not enforce and introduce the same in all Hindu temples as well?
Firstly, this amendment that has been proposed by the government is not an amendment to run a masjid or a dargah or how Qabristan is to be day-to-day functionally run by a man or a woman. The amendments proposed by the government have to do with the functionality of the board and the relationship of the Waqf or the individual who constitutes a Waqf, and because of creation of the Waqf, how they can find support by either administration or find legal refuge in the courts. So for somebody to here presume that the government intends to run masjids is actually creating deliberate mischief with regards to what is being proposed today by the government of India through the introduction of the Umeed bill. I would like to draw your attention to the fact that if you look at all the amendments that are being proposed by the government, what are they? One, that whoever constitutes a Waqf has to be a Muslim. Now, the provisions that were brought forth by the Congress-led UPA allowed even non-Muslims to create a Waqf. Why is it that these so-called Muslim sympathizers of, let's say, somebody either in the clergy or somebody in the community did not take umbrage or oppose the fact that even non-Muslims were allowed to create Waqfs? Because Waqf, by its very definition, is an element of how Islam is to be practiced. So those who do not practice Islam, how are they allowed under the Congress-led UPA to create a Waqf is an issue which is meant for debate and deliberation. Secondly, if you look at what has been proposed by the government, when they talk about creation of the Waqf, there are scores of cases which have come to light when people say, I create a Waqf, but the board does not satisfy and recognize and certify the fact that I have created a Waqf. What the government now has proposed is not only that the Waqf deed is to be registered, but also that the board now duly has to give the certificate to the person who has created the Waqf. Third, there have been many cases that people have been running between the board and the tribunal trying to get justice when mutawalis, which if you use a common language are maybe managers of that particular Waqf or that particular property, have usurped lands. In fact, Rahul, I would like to bring to your notice that it is India Today which did a story in the year 2017 where mutawalis, the so-called managers, were selling away lands of masjids, of dargahs, of Qabristan in black, in cahoots with certain board members.
Okay.
Now, I wonder why the opposition didn't take umbrage when lakhs of acres of Muslim masjids, dargahs and qabristans were being sold away by these dalals. So if you look at all the provisions that have been proposed by the government, these provisions have been proposed to protect the real custodians and owners of that Waqf or that property.
The other point that's being raised as objection is the timing of the amendment. They're saying there's a big election in Maharashtra, Jharkhand, Haryana, that because the government feels that you have to somehow bring it back to a Hindu-Muslim kind of narrative, therefore the likes of the AIMM, the others are saying that this is being done with an eye on the forthcoming assembly election where the government feels on tricky wickets to try and bring it back on a Hindu-Muslim kind of narrative. How do you respond to that?
Rahul, tell me something. Rahul, tell me something. If the board elects Muslim women to the board, how does it affect a Hindu? If the board is now constituted of Shias, Sunnis, Aga Khanis, Bohras and Ahmadiyas, how does it affect Hindus? And is the opposition of the opinion that Muslims reside only in Jharkhand, Haryana and Maharashtra? And that there are no Muslims in any other state? Did the government, when we introduced the bill, say that this is meant only for Jharkhand, Haryana and Maharashtra? There has been exhaustive consultation which has been undertaken with state governments, with state Waqf boards, with people from various facets of the community, including, like I said, Bohras, Aga Khanis, Ahmadiyas, women, poor children who've been running around trying to ensure that their inheritance and their rights are not usurped by either a board member or by a mutawalli who's a manager. After all these consultations and engagements, that is when the government has proposed these amendments. And I would compliment the government that after exhaustively responding to every charge of the opposition, even then, it is the government that proposed the constitution of the JPC. So how is it stifling the voice of the minority community? In fact, the government has not only strengthened the property rights of the Muslim community, but also given Muslim women a respectful and legal framework of pursuing their inheritance rights, pursuing their right to be a leader on Waqf board so that they can work towards, and generously so, towards protecting the rights of other Muslim women in the community.
Well, you've made certain points. We're going to get the opposition parties that have been opposing these amendments now to respond to them. Smriti Irani.
And Rahul?
Yes, ma'am.
On a parting note, Rahul, on a parting note, I have for the past 1.5 years functioned as the Central Waqf Council's chairperson. I'm a woman and I'm not a Muslim, I'm a practicing Hindu. And I think that anybody who says that if you're a woman or a non-Muslim and cannot diligently, under the ambit of the constitution, serve the purposes of the Muslim community, I think this government has, through its practice and through its administrative abilities, in fact proven that we have upheld not only the rights of Muslim women, but we've also protected the rights of poor Muslims in this country.
Okay, those are important points. We'll take them up now. Smriti Irani ji, thank you very much for joining us on the Newstrack. I want to go to Abbas Haider. You heard from the senior BJP leader. If you go provision by provision, it seems as if this is an effort to reform how these Waqf boards are run. And any dispassionate observer will say, you know, in any gully, mohalla, town, you hear stories of how land has been usurped by the Waqf board. Not all. I mean, there are boards that run well, but there are many that don't. They're trying to bring more transparency. Women have been complaining about the absence of a fair hearing. If women are on the boards, you know, that's again a positive step. So why then, Abbas Haider, is the Samajwadi Party opposing this?
Rahul bhai, I have heard certain mother's statement from Mrs. Smriti Irani, and I would like to say, see, it's just another political jinx from the Bharatiya Janata Party. See, on one hand, Smriti Irani is saying that she has been heading the Central Waqf Council. She's a practicing Hindu woman. And on the other hand, a Hindu, a non-Muslim cannot donate his property as Waqf. See, it is my right. If I'm a practicing Muslim, I can donate my property to a Christian charity, Sikh charity or a Hindu temple. It's my right. The government cannot deny me this right of donating my property, one thing. So that is the contradiction of Bharatiya Janata Party. Mr. Zafar Islam is on the panel. He would have been the chairman of Central Waqf Council as well, but no, he didn't get the chance. See, I would, I have certain disagreements. I have certain points which I would like to make. See, there is Section 3C of this Act, which clearly says, see, the biggest problem, there are more than 10 million civil cases which are pending across the country. First of all, I would like to clarify that any Waqf board is subservient to the law of the land. They are not above the law of the land. If you have any problem, if a Waqf board has made an arbitrary decision, like you have given a couple of examples, anybody can go to the Waqf tribunal. If
no, but that's a very complex process, sir. No, one second. Sir, one second. Abbas Haider, what is being said now and how is this different from what operates at the moment? What is said now is that there will be a proper inspection before a land gets accepted as Waqf land. Right now, Waqf board can stand up and say, this land is ours, and till the time I now go to a tribunal, challenge it in a civil court, it is till then Waqf land. Isn't that a sensible change to have? And what's your problem with having women on Waqf boards?
Sir, I would like to tell you the powers of the Waqf board. First of all, the duty of the Waqf board is to appoint mutawalli, which in simple language you can call a caretaker of a particular property. If you talk about Uttar Pradesh, there are more than 100,000 properties registered under the Waqf board, both Shia Waqf board and Sunni Waqf board. There are around 30 Waqf board operating across the country, Shia and Sunni Waqf board. And one more thing I want to clarify here. See, in Uttar Pradesh, both in Shia Central Waqf board and Sunni Central Waqf board, there are Muslim members. So don't try to, manipulate things. There are members from the backward Muslim communities in both the boards. So this is a misinformation the Bharatiya Janata Party is spreading. Second thing, see, for any civil cases, what a person who's endowed his property would love to have a speedy trial or a speedy, his matter should get resolved as soon as possible. But here what is happening is, see, there was a specific Waqf commissioner which was appointed by the state government. The powers of the Waqf commissioner have been given to the district magistrate. Now the district magistrate are already overworked. Now the whole process is going to get delayed. So
okay,
on one hand,
let me pause you and I'll put a question to Sayyid Zafar Islam.
Board, we are going to overturn
Dr. Islam,
but in reality,
here's the question.
Already going to delay
One of the provisions of the amendment is that going forward, Hindu cannot give his property to the Waqf. Right now, a person of any religious denomination can give his property to the Waqf. Going forward, a person has to practice Islam, wait for 5 years, then he can give his land to the Waqf board. But why not? If there is some person of some other religious denomination who wants to donate his land to the Waqf, as is the case right now, why should the government try and stop that?
No, Rahul, you have to understand that. And one way people say that it is a religious matter, other way say that when the benefit has to, when it is coming to the board or the Waqf, then we must welcome it. Waqf is primarily meant for Muslim, and the donation has to come from the Muslim.
No, but why? No, sir. So, for example, if I am a practicing Sikh and somebody wants to donate to a temple, I am just giving an example. If somebody wants to donate to a Sikh Gurdwara, why not? If they want to do a service at a langar, why not? If they want to, similarly, if there is a Hindu who wants to give, or any Sikh, Christian, anybody wants to give land to the Waqf board, I mean, that it should be allowed. Why stop it?
No, that's what I said, that you have to understand the sentiments of and the reason why the Waqf has been created, Waqf board has been created.
No, but how can you decide that, sir? If somebody wants to dedicate his land to Islam or to God or to Prophet Muhammad, it's his wish. Whichever religious denomination he belongs to, why should the government dictate that?
No, No, of course, because the principle of Islam that or the Waqf, that the money or the benefit or the donor should be a Muslim. The donor should be a Muslim and the beneficiary should be a Muslim. That is the basic principle. So in this case, if the donor is not Muslim, the benefit should not go to Muslim. That is why it has been proposed here.
No, but that's discriminatory. If anybody wants to donate, so what is Waqf? Waqf is a dedication from somebody to God, to Prophet Muhammad. If somebody wants to dedicate his land for whatever reason he wants to dedicate his land, it's his wish. You are now trying to stop that.
No, Waqf is Rahul, you have to understand that Waqf is a body basically which accepts donation from the Muslim for the welfare of the Muslim. So if non-Muslim donates, I think that's why it has been prohibited unless you start practicing Islam and after a period of 5 years to ensure that nobody unnecessarily donate in a Waqf board or in a Waqf where
no, what is necessary, non-necessary? That's the government wanting to tell people what to do, what not to do. Sayyid Nasiruddin Chishti, chairperson of the All India Sufi Council. Now, several people from amongst the Muslim community also are supporting the amendments. Can you explain to those listening where you come out on the amendments being moved by the government, whether you think this is dangerous or do you think this is welcome reform?
We have already welcomed the decision of the government of India for taking an initiative for moving the Waqf amendment bill before the chair of the parliament. It was long awaited demand by all the leading organizations of Indian Muslims, including my organization, All India Sufi, that's the Nasheem Council. And there is certain section which make clash between the religion and many other things. Actually. First of all, I would like to appreciate the statement of the Smriti Irani. She was leading the Center of Council since last 1.5 years, I think. She told. जब वो सेंटर ऑफ काउंसिल को लीड कर सकती हैं तो फॉर्मेशन ऑफ द कमेटी इसमें लाया गया है स्टेट वक्फ बोर्ड का और सेंटर वक्फ बोर्ड का, तो उसमें वुमेन क्यों नहीं आ सकती? किसको एतराज है? हु डिनाई फॉर दैट? वी वेलकम. और नॉन मुस्लिम भी आते हैं तो नो प्रॉब्लम, बिकॉज मुतवल्ली भी नॉन मुस्लिम हो चुके हैं कई. अगर आप पास हिस्ट्री में जाएंगे आप कई जगहों के, तो ये सब चीजें डिस्क्रिमिनेशन को खत्म करने के लिए आई थिंक द इंटेंशन ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट इज वेरी मच क्लियर, बिकॉज टुडे ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टर proposed to send this bill to the joint parliamentary committee. Okay, so intention of the government is very much clear.
No, Shoaib Jamai, respond to this, because unlike the charge which was leveled in the past that the government was trying to ram it through.
Listen, let me clear. Let me finish.
बोलिए चिश्ती साहब, बोलिए.
Please let me. Waqf is a part of the religion. Okay, no problem. The condition of the Waqf is a part of the religion. The administration of the Waqf is not a part of religion in India, because the administration cover under the Waqf Act, which was introduced in India after the Constitution in 1954. Okay, so this is the process of the administration, how to administrate the Waqf properties and its income. It's totally about that. Okay. Don't mislead the people of this country,
okay.
especially for
Shoaib
the Muslims.
Jamai,
they are trying to.
Shoaib Jamai, there are several institutes, bodies from within the Muslim community, like the All India Sufi Council and others, who've come out and actually supported these amendments. Women have supported these amendments, and therefore the Aga Khanis have supported the amendments, Bohras have supported the amendment, some backward caste Muslims have supported the amendment. So it almost seems as if, you know, there is a majority which feels threatened, which is trying to stonewall what many in the same community want. आप म्यूट पे हैं, शोएब जमाई.
Yeah. Before answering why some of the institutions in the name of Muslim are supporting this bill, let me clarify that there are more around 40 amendments in this bill. अगर एक एक करके आप उसको डिकोड करें, क्यों लिमिट किया जा रहा है कि यहाँ से वक्फ बाई यूजर आप नहीं कर सकते, वक्फ बाई औलाद नहीं कर सकते? भाई हम अपने बच्चे को दे सकते हैं, वो वक्फ को दे सकता है. अगर किसी यहाँ से हिंदू को ये आजादी है कि भाई वो अपने बच्चे को विल के थ्रू अपनी पूरी प्रॉपर्टी दे सकती है, तो हम वक्फ बाई औलाद क्यों नहीं दे सकते? नंबर वन. अब ये जो लिमिटेशंस किया जा रहा है, इसकी वजह से
these are being sent to a standing committee, so it's not as if they're being pushed through. So let it go through a consultative process. You should welcome that.
Yes, we welcome that कि जेपीसी में भेजा गया, लेकिन हमारे एतराज जताने के बाद ही तो, अगर हम ये एतराज न जताएं तो ये तो आप कर देंगे अपनी मनमानी. फिर ये बताइए कि जो ये लोकसभा के यहाँ से आप मेंबर उसमें रखना चाहते हैं, क्या होगा अगर वो आरएसएस और बीजेपी का मेंबर है, आरएसएस से जुड़ा हुआ है और उसके यहाँ से इंटेंशन बिल्कुल एंटी मुस्लिम है, जैसे उत्तर प्रदेश में आप कई जगह देख रहे हैं. उसकी क्या गारंटी है कि वो ट्राइब्यूनल को डाइल्यूट नहीं करेंगे? और अगर यहाँ से आप एक सोल पावर अगर किसी कमिश्नर को दे देते हैं तो बाकी बोर्ड मेंबर्स जो 9 लोग हैं 1/3 मेजोरिटी चाहिए किसी भी प्रपोजल को पास करने के लिए, वो क्या करेंगे? अगर यहाँ से कलेक्टर अगर यहाँ से इस तरह का कोई उसका मेल इंटेंशन होगा तो फिर तो आप जमीनें यहाँ से कहीं क्लेम भी नहीं कर सकते। तो ये वक्फ ऑक्यूपायर नहीं है, वक्फ ऑक्यूपायर में ये समझना।
Sir, I'm saying you haven't answered my question. I asked you that there are several within the Muslim community and significant voices. The Aga Khanis, the Bohras, the backward class Muslims, women, they are coming out and supporting this. Why should your objection be taken more seriously than their support?
Yes, because यहाँ से कि अभी आगा खानी की आप बात कर लीजिए, पूरे दिल्ली में आगा खान ट्रस्ट के थ्रू जहां जहां पे वो वर्क चलता है, आप निजामुद्दीन में जाके पूछिए, हमारे कार्यकर्ताओं ने इस बात को बताया कि आगा खान ट्रस्ट जो है वो कई लोगों को मोहरा बना के कोर्ट में मुकदमा दायर करती है और निजामुद्दीन की कई बस्तियों पर उन्होंने यहाँ से डिमोलिशन के ऑर्डर करवा रखे हैं कई फर्जी तरीकों से, और उसमें कई लोग जो है यहाँ से इन्वॉल्व हैं। यहाँ बात यहाँ से चाहे ये दरगाह चिश्ती साहब जो यहाँ से हैं, दरगाह की अजमेर से, क्या इनसे पूछिए कि गवर्नमेंट के ये इनको यहाँ से नहीं जाता है अनुदान? गवर्नमेंट का जाता है ना, तो जो गवर्नमेंट के अनुदान पे चल रहा हो वो क्यों इसका यहाँ से विरोध करेंगे? हम इसलिए विरोध कर रहे हैं क्योंकि हम इंडिपेंडेंट आवाज है और हमारी आवाज आज पार्लियामेंट में सुनी गई है, इसलिए जेपीसी में गया है।
Okay, let Sayyid Zafar Islam respond to this, that your intention was to ram this through because the opposition opposed it, which is why you've agreed to send the amendment bill to a standing committee. Let Zafar Islam respond to that.
First of all, Rahul, let me tell you very clearly, the consultation process lasted for over 10 years. We have consulted every single stakeholders because there are a lot of people who have actually came to the government and narrated their horror stories, how their land has been confiscated by the Waqf board and how they are struggling with the Waqf board. And there are only few handful of people who are the beneficiaries because these people are land mafias and they are somehow trying to deal with other outsiders, and instead of beneficiary should be the Muslim, the beneficiary is somebody else. So it is important for the government to ensure that the common man, common Muslim should be the beneficiary, and that is why this legislation of the amendments have been introduced in the parliament. Let the committee decides whatever be the final outcome, but the intent of the government that the women, the marginalized section within the Muslim community who should be the beneficiaries.
Abbas, either respond to what Zafar Islam is saying, that there are several within the marginalized sections of the Muslim community who've come out and supported this bill. Why should objections of political parties like yours be taken more seriously than the voice of the marginalized within the Muslim community?
No, nobody has actually, supported this bill. We are actually reflecting the voices of the people, the parliament and on the streets, actually, Rahul bhai. Let me just...
no, you are saying nobody supported the bill. We have the chairperson of the All India Sufi Council who's saying he's supporting the bill and he's explaining why.
See,
how are you allowed to speak for everyone else?
See, there are... No, they have their right to have an opinion. I don't object to that. But, there are people who will support Bharatiya Janata Party in whatever decision they make. I don't want to comment on that. But let me just quickly rebut to what Zafar bhai was telling. So, first of all, yes, the intent of Bharatiya Janata Party is clear.
Can I ask one question, Rahul, to all of them who are opposing?
Use this for the electoral
Can I ask one question, Rahul,
don't
to people who are opposing this bill?
Everybody speaking at the same time, that makes it very difficult for me to moderate. Let Abbas Haider complete in 30 seconds. I'll come to you, Zafar Islam. Abbas Haider, 30 seconds.
See, I want to tell, first of all, see how it is going to help the land mafia, that I want to decode. See, if there is a land which has been, see, first of all, I want to clarify that the compliance of any decision which has been taken by the Waqf board stays with the district magistrate. Most of the Waqf board in the country have been constituted by the state governments, and which Bharatiya Janata Party has in most of the state. The Waqf tribunal is also constituted by the state government with the consultation of the High Court. There is a member of the judiciary which is equivalent to the rank of higher judicial service, administrative member which is rank of additional district magistrate, another person of eminence from Muslim community. That constitute the tribunal. Now the thing is, see, if some land is being confiscated, if being illegally occupied by a land mafia, now I want to tell a section 3C which says that the property in question shall not be treated as a waqf until collector submits his or her report.
Okay,
now the question
okay,
is,
I'm out of time. I know that Sayyid Chishti wants to make a quick point. Nasiruddin Chishti, 20 seconds, please go ahead, sir.
That decision, that property
let me clear you one thing. Actually, there is one confusion regarding all this issue. Ajmer Dargah is not dependent on any aid of the government of India. Ajmer Dargah is running under the Dargah Khwaja Sahib Act. The act is there is one Dargah committee who got the income from the Dargah endowment and running their structure on only depend on that income only. And the second thing is that we are the main stakeholder of these properties.
ये जो काशी और मथुरा की जो मस्जिद है वो वक्त के यहाँ से वक्त के कानून से सेफगार्ड है ना.
You know the better.
अगर
You know
आप
the
उसको
better.
डाइल्यूट कर
One at a
देंगे
time.
तो आप काशी और मथुरा.
Let Mr. Chishti complete.
No, let me tell you. Please do not mislead the people. Actually, they are trying to implement the act in the
Zafar Islam, before I wrap up, final words.
See, Rahul, I just wanted to pose one question to all the people who are opposing this bill. They must know that the worth of this Waqf board and the property is over 9 lakh crore. How much revenue they generate on a year-on-year basis? Merely 200 crore, means 0.02% of the wealth the Waqf possess. So is it good for the community? Because there is no transparency, it's a mismanagement as my senior leader Smriti Irani ji has pointed out, that it is mismanaged. This entire Waqf setup is somehow being mismanaged, and also there is no transparency. Once there will be transparency and efficiently managed, you will see, and the proper governance is there, you will see the same work will generate 30,000-40,000 crore a year, and that will be used for the benefit of the marginalized section within.
Here's the positive thing that's happened, that the bill has been sent to a committee of parliament where opposition parties can weigh in, government can weigh in, and then hopefully through that consultative process we can have amendments which are not discriminatory, amendments which are truly reformative in their orientation and intent, and hopefully that is the ultimate consensus and the ultimate result that will emerge from those deliberations. That's really our hope. We're slipping into a break. When we come back, Mobile Laureate Mohammad Yunus takes over as the head of Bangladesh's new interim government. Sheikh Hasina is still in Delhi. Details on the Bangladesh crisis coming up after a quick break.
Motorola Razr 50 Ultra comes with Google Gemini.
Weather easing up now, choppers are being used at the spot to help in bringing in some sort of relief aid and also bringing in personnel on ground.
This is a story of Samidas where he says that 3 of their family members are still missing.
It's really heartbreaking scenes. What we are seeing, some of the family members come here to receive the bodies. Priority right now is to rescue as well. There are many people still stuck and missing.
With video journalist Sachin Chandok, this is Akshita Nandagopal reporting from Wayanad for India Today.
Grounded in journalism, on the ground reporting, only on India Today TV.
Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus is now the head of the interim government in Bangladesh. Soon after landing in Dhaka, he made a public address declaring that attacks on minorities must stop. Violence and arson, though, continues across the country. Meanwhile, Sheikh Hasina, the former Prime Minister, continues to be at the Hindon Air Base near Delhi, and there is no clarity yet on her next move.
400 dead and counting. Bangladesh remains on the edge days after protest against Sheikh Hasina gripped the country. The long spell of violence saw temples being burned, houses of Hindus being attacked and looted. Many Bangladeshi Hindus are trying to enter India from the border. Security agencies have been issued an alert warning that terrorists and other criminals who have escaped from Bangladeshi jails may try to enter India.
The instability in a neighborhood is another cause of concern for us. A strong armed force backed by a strong defense industrial sector is hence a sine qua non for the nation state. For a large nation like India, with plenitude of security problems, it cannot remain dependent on foreign imports for war fighting and sustenance, especially in an environment where the global security environment is in a state of flux and we have live borders at hand.
Meanwhile, mural paintings of Bongo Bandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman were whitewashed in Bangladesh. With a new interim government led by Nobel-winning economist Muhammad Yunus taking shape, Bangladesh is hoping for normalcy.
এই স্বাধীনতাটা আমাদেরকে রক্ষা করতেই হবে, শুধু রক্ষা করার না, এই স্বাধীনতার সুফল প্রতিটি মানুষের ঘরে পৌঁছাতে হবে, তা না হলে স্বাধীনতার কোনো দাম নেই। এই স্বাধীনতাটি পৌঁছানো হলে আমাদের জগৎ, আমাদের যে প্রতিজ্ঞা যে আমাদেরকে এটা করতে হবে, ঘরে ঘরে পৌঁছাতে হবে, মানুষ যেন জানে যে বাংলাদেশ স্বাধীন হওয়ার অর্থ হলো তার নিজের পরিবর্তন, ব্যক্তির পরিবর্তন, সুযোগের পরিবর্তন, তার ছেলেমেয়ের ভবিষ্যতের পরিবর্তন, এটা যেন প্রত্যেকে বুঝে নেয়।
Former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, who fled to India, remains at the Hindon Air Base near Delhi. Her son, Sajeev Wazir Joy, who had earlier ruled out Hasina's return to Bangladesh, has now backtracked.
আমরা বলেছিলাম যে আমার পরিবার আর রাজনীতি করবে না, তবে আমাদের নেতাকর্মীর উপর যেভাবে হামলা হচ্ছে, এই পরিস্থিতিতে আমরা হাল ছেড়ে দিতে পারি না।
The new government headed by Yunus has a big challenge ahead. First, it has to bring the mindless violence against Awami League members and Hindus and then push ahead with plans for economic revival. Bureau Report, India Today.
This is where we wrap up the Newstrack tonight. The last few days we got really excited cheering for the Indian athletes who were in the fray. I'm not going to say anything. I just got my fingers crossed, taking no names, saying nothing. Let's just hope that on the big day, at the biggest stage, they deliver what the country is waiting for. Goodbye, good night, I'll see you tomorrow.
Motorola Razr 50 Ultra comes with Google Gemini. Motorola Razr 50 Ultra comes with Google Gemini.
Hi, I am AI anchor Sana, bringing the top headlines for you, presented by Motorola. Center Tables Waqf Amendment Bill 2024 in Lok Sabha. NASA says Sunita Williams may remain in space till February 2025. PM Modi to visit Wayanad landslide site on 10th August.
समाजवादी पार्टी समझती कि पीडीए ने भारतीय जनता पार्टी के खिलाफ वोट डाला है। पीडीए में अल्पसंख्यक भी आते हैं। भारतीय जनता पार्टी वो अल्पसंख्यकों के अधिकारों को सीमित करना चाहती है, समाप्त करना चाहती है, इसलिए इस तरीके के बिल लेके आई है। उनकी मंशा बिल के जरिए जो ज़मीन है वो निजी हाथों में देने का उनकी योजना है, लेकिन भारतीय जनता पार्टी वो जान ले कि पीडीए के खिलाफ काम करने से पीडीए वो अपने हक और की जो लड़ाई है उसको लड़ने से रुकने वाला नहीं है।
He told in the meeting this is a hasty decision, so without any discussion of the concerned Muslim organizations and also concerned stakeholders, you are bringing this bill is some political advantage or some polarization coming election. Maharashtra and Haryana election is coming. You want to a communal polarization. That's why you are bringing this bill very fast.
Weather forecast now. Delhi, maximum 33 and minimum 26 degrees. Mumbai, maximum 28 and minimum 26 degrees. Kolkata, maximum 32 and minimum 26 degrees. Bangalore, maximum 25 and minimum 21 degrees. Chennai, maximum 31 and minimum 25 degrees. Hyderabad, maximum 27 and minimum 22 degrees.
Motorola Razr 50 Ultra comes with Google Gemini.
Guys, you know the word ungentlemanly. I can't think of any movie that has this word in its title. It perhaps the first film to introduce us to the concept of being ungentlemanly and to celebrate that unapologetically. I think how cool is that? I want to ask you, Henry, off camera, on set, what's the most ungentlemanly thing that you did on this film?
Oh, I don't know really. I mean, in the
I think it's one of your opening scenes.
No, he's asking it offset. I mean,
I thought he was saying within the film.
There is nothing that Henry does that is ungentlemanly. He sets an absolute precedence for every single one of us, and is the first one to turn up, is the last one to leave, first one to stand up in a room when anyone enters. So, unfortunately, the answer that I have stolen is probably not the one you want, but he is a true gentleman.
I mean, I like sort of taking the mick a little bit sometimes. I think it keeps the mood up. If even when you do something silly like you stumble or you fluff your lines or something, then you just make fun of someone to keep the mood light, because otherwise people can get their own heads a little bit and they start to panic about it. But if everyone's laughing about it, everyone relaxes about it, and so. So ultimately, the most ungentlemanly thing he does is an extremely gentlemanly thing to do.
Yeah, exactly.
He's incapable at it. Yeah, case in point.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. What do other people say? Sort of, what's your greatest fear? Oh, the fear of failure. Or like no, it's not.
So sorry.
यूपी में बस बाबा 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 यूपी में बस बाबा 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 नारा योगी जी ऐसा नहीं, जरा इधर देखिए 1 2 3 हाँ जरा देखो यहाँ स्टेप दूं मैं सिखा करके दो दिखा चुनाव में दो तोहफा 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 जिता के दे दो तोहफा 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 तोहफा। अरे आइए डिप्टी साहब जरा अपने स्टेप तो दिखाइए।
हाँ जी दिखाता हूँ। हार से तौबा 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 तौबा, हार से तौबा 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 तौबा।
मेरे साथ मिलकर झगड़े से तौबा 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 तौबा, झगड़े से तौबा 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 तौबा। यूपी में बस बाबा 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 बाबा, यूपी में बस बाबा 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 बाबा।
Presented by JK Tyre, Desh Ka Tyre. Co-presented by New Seltos with Kia Connect. Tech is now badass.
Good evening, you're watching News Today. I am Preeti Chaudhary. The Court of Arbitration of Sports has accepted Vinesh Phogat's plea for a joint silver medal. They will hear the plea tomorrow at 1:30 Indian Standard Time. But is this a ray of hope, or really we shouldn't read in much into it? That's what's up for discussion in the next 40 minutes. Let me take you through the headlines. India's hockey team clinches bronze at the Paris Olympics. This is their second consecutive bronze on the Olympic podium. Glorious send-off for veteran B.R. Shrijesh. Vinesh Phogat retires from wrestling in an emotional tweet, appeals against her disqualification and requests for a joint silver medal. Hearing will begin tomorrow in Paris at 1:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. India's medal hopes take the field. Neeraj Chopra guns for gold in the javelin throw final. Aman Sherawat storms into the wrestling semis. Big Sansad showdown over the new Waqf amendment bill. Opposition calls it partisan and anti-Muslim. Government defense says land mafia grabbing land under Waqf. Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus takes over as the head of Bangladesh's new interim government. Sheikh Hasina still in India. MEA says no update on her next plan yet. There's been another cloudburst in Himachal. Tragedy strikes 22 at least killed in the aftermath in 3 districts. Search operations underway for 30 missing. Buddhadev Bhattacharjee, the former West Bengal chief minister, is no more. The veteran left leader breathed his last at his residence today at the age of 80 years old. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar to visit Maldives from 9th to the 11th August. This will be the first India visit to Maldives since the diplomatic standoff in 2023. And astronaut Sunita Williams may be stranded in space till February 2025. NASA says return will be possible only when Boeing Starliner issues are fixed. Some fabulous news came in from Paris this evening. India has won the bronze in hockey, scripting history. The hockey team has clinched the bronze. This is the second consecutive bronze. They had it in Tokyo 2020 and they've converted it again in 2024. Prime Minister Modi's already called on Indian hockey team. Prime Minister Modi says their success is a triumph of skill, perseverance and team spirit. They showed immense grit and resilience. Congratulations to all the players.
जी सर कि आपने पराजय की पूरी श्रृंखला को तोड़ा है जी सर और आपके नेतृत्व में और आपकी पूरी टीम के प्रयासों से इस बार भी हमने प्रगति की है और मुझे पक्का विश्वास है कि अब हॉकी क्योंकि वो पुराना जो स्वर्णिम काल था वो फिर से आप लोग वापस लेके आएंगे तो मुझे पक्का विश्वास हो गया है जी बिल्कुल सर बिल्कुल लेके आएंगे सर थैंक यू सर हमारे श्रीजय से जी सर कोशिश करती है जी साथ में ही सर कर लीजिए सर
हेलो सर
श्रीजय है वहाँ
यस सर श्रीजेश बात कर रहा हूँ सर
कैसे हो भैया
एकदम बढ़िया सर कंग्रेचुलेशन सर
बधाई हो आपको
थैंक यू सर थैंक यू
आपकी कमाल आपने निवृत्ति घोषित कर दी आखिरी में
यस सर
लेकिन आपको नई टीम तैयार करनी होगी भैया
यस सर
देखिए मैं एक बार तो आज जरूर कहना चाहूंगा 10 खिलाड़ियों के साथ ब्रिटेन की लड़ाई आपकी मुझे लगता है हिंदुस्तान का हॉकी को समझने वाला हर बच्चा इसको हमेशा याद रखेगा
थैंक यू सर
और इसको एक उदाहरण के रूप में माना जाएगा और मैं मानता हूं कि दुनिया में भी हॉकी की चर्चा होगी तो ये आपकी क्वार्टर फाइनल की मैच का तो जरूर जिक्र आएगा
थैंक यू सर
और मैं सच बता दूं अच्छा टीम स्पिरिट भी दिखाई दिया और आपने बिल्कुल जमकर के और मैं देखा कि एक बार हारने के बाद थोड़ा मोरल डाउन हो जाता है लेकिन आपने 24 घंटे में फिर से अपने आप को रिकवर करके पूरी ताकत से निकल पड़े आप लोग
जी सर
देखिए देश को बड़ा गर्व हो रहा है आप लोगों पर और मेरी तरफ से बहुत बहुत बधाई है सबको
थैंक यू वेरी मच सर
सबकी तबीयत तो ठीक है ना कोई इंजरी नहीं हुई
नहीं सर सब एकदम बढ़िया सर सब लोग इधर आपको सुन रहे सर सब खुश है सब आपका कॉल का इंतजार में था सर
मैं सबको मेरी तरफ से बहुत बहुत बधाई दे रहा भैया
भारत माता की
थैंक यू सर
थैंक यू महाराज की जय सर थैंक यू सर
चलिए सरपंच साहब बहुत बहुत बधाई थैंक यू सो मच सर थैंक यू सो मच सर थैंक यू
Well, those heartwarming visuals coming in from Paris of the Prime Minister speaking to the Indian hockey team after they have clinched a consecutive bronze medal. But somebody else whose morale is also rather down but not out is Vinesh Fogart. She is gunning for silver. Like I pointed out, the CAS, the Court of Arbitration of Sports, has accepted Vinesh Fogart's plea. The hearing on Vinesh's plea will be on for a joint silver tomorrow. This hearing will begin at 1:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. India has pushed for their own legal representation in this hearing. That's the latest that we are getting in. All of this, viewers, coming at a time after Vinesh Fogart, in a very emotional tweet, came out and said on Twitter that she is retiring and apologized to the country for not bringing a medal back. But there is a ray of hope. The CAS has accepted her plea and will be hearing it tomorrow, 1:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. All eyes on that. Meanwhile, snatched on the cusp of Olympic glory, Vinesh Fogart, a name synonymous with excellence, grit, bids farewell to the sport that defined her. While Vinesh was denied an Olympic medal with a mere 100 grams of being overweight, her silver medal hopes are still alive. small but still alive. Here's a report on the journey of India's wrestling trailblazer.
Between Vinesh Fogart and Olympic glory were just 100 grams. India's countless appeals to salvage something for her fell on deaf ears as a dejected Vinesh announced her retirement from wrestling, calling time on a medal-laden career sans Olympic success. Her route to Paris was filled with obstacles. Much of 2023 was all about protests against the then WFI chief. She was beaten and dragged by the police and nearly immersed all her medals in the Ganga River. In all of this, she even underwent a knee surgery and missed the Asian Games